Sup? Yo, 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 yo. Where's my favorite? I don't grift at all, bro. Message held for review. Well, we're not in India, baby. Yes, lunar eclipse tonight. Maybe I should go outside and make my vision worse than it already is. Gay vacation spree. That might be my favorite screen name ever. Hello. I'm in a good mood. The LA Kings just beat the best team in the league, 3-0. And Pierre-Luc Dubois didn't do shit. So, welcome aboard, everyone. It's a little cold in LA. No, Jake H., no all caps in here. No all caps. Only Peter the Chicken Man Brennan is allowed all caps. Yeah, I did not see that, actually. So, no, I don't groom kids. Sorry to disappoint you. I mean, when I met Brian Knobs 2 years ago, he was in fucked up shape. Could barely walk. You know, these 80s wrestlers, man, they go hard in the paint. Trust me on that one. You know. So, you know, you kind of feel bad for him, but it's like, bro, what did you do with all the money you made? I mean, I know it was a while ago, but these guys clean up on conventions. And, you know, at the Flair Roast the next day, they had like a Comic Con for pro wrestlers, you know. And I gotta be honest with you, the Nasty Boys had like one of the bigger lines. So, you know, I'm sure they made a couple $1,000 that weekend off of idiots like me. So, sorry for picking my teeth on camera. How rude of me. Well, Brian Knobs is absolutely bad with money. Great guy, though. And one of my favorite jokes I've ever written was, "Where's Brian Knobs tonight? Look at Knobs. He can finally say he has a better body than Luger. Hey, who's your favorite wrestler?" 100%. I would have to. Well, you might like the new tag team in AEW, the MXM Collection. I've actually got their T-shirt on right now. Just the tips. I did not DoorDash for dinner. I went to Ready Fit Go and got some ready-made meals for me. I do not remember you. I only remember people who super chat me. Your Mark Optics show and play. I don't know what that means. Mark Optics. Iron Sheik is number one. Yes, he is. He was. I'm grifting. Grifting, I mean, you know, come on, man. I read most of the free questions. Well, you're going to learn how to spell Sheik first, and before he makes you humble. No, not really. You're projecting, Kenny. I don't know about the Bushwhackers being the greatest tag team ever, but someone was telling me before they became the Bushwhackers, they were like a really super violent tag team. And then, like the WWE tends to do, they made them kind of cartoonish, kind of like what they did to Kamala. You know, Kamala, when he was in Mid South, was a fucking savage. Um, but then the WWE kind of, I don't know what they did to him, but they took his legs. I'll tell you that much. Shout out to Kamala, the Ugandan Giants. And Pierre-Luc Dubois. Never forget. Even when I bought this at the King's store, now this is when Dubois was still on the Kings. The guy looked at me like, why do you want this? That's Rikishi. Yes, Rikishi, I do. I mean, the Wild Samoans in their heyday were a great heel team. I mean, I would say the Road Warriors, great tag team. My personal favorite, the Superpowers, Nikita Koloff and Dusty Rhodes. Yes, I could have been touched by a very hot tutor, giant jugs. Unfortunately, my brother had to be a tattletale. I liked NWA like right before they morphed into WCW. We don't, crew, you know, we don't do all caps in here. Gay Vacation, we do not do all caps in here. Here are the only things that can be all caps in here. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, he just, you know, he's an OG. He gets privileges. And any Jeff Ross insults can be in all caps. And Chris Bund, yeah. I mean, I don't think he was sacrificed. I mean, he was fucked up. You know, he killed his. I mean, you know, I don't believe the conspiracies there. Kevin Sullivan and devil worship and all that. I very much believe that. You know, I mean, when you look at Chris Benoit and all the flying headbutts and chair shots, I mean, the concussions, like they were nothing to him. Earl is only warning you guys about caps 10 more times, and then I will step in 100%. I mean, you know, I try and be good in here. I don't try and ban people. You know, I talk to all the trolls. I answer 99% of the free questions. I might miss a few, but like, I do my best to make this stream unlike everyone else's like Dabbleverse streams where it's grift, 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 give me money, extra time for overtime, money, honey. By the way, where's we have a new super chatter of the year in here. He was out of control this morning. A Jeff Ross girl armpits so hairy she lifts her armpits look like buckwheat in a headlock. I mean, that's pretty good, but they have to be organic. Who are you? I ask myself that question a lot. Who am I? I am not the EA Sports guy. EA Sports. It's in the game. I'm just a stand-up comic from, well, you should like this Gay Vacation Spree, West Hollywood, California. Harry Carey Jr. I see I get it because of the glasses. Who do you think Lonnie Poff will die with him having great? Why do you? Well, you know, some people just drop dead. You know, look at that. I mean, Moses, I don't know how old you are, but in the 70s and 80s, there was a guru, Jim Fix, Jim Quick, something like that, like an ultra marathon runner. You know, he was like the Jack LaLanne of running. And he died of a heart attack. Like, you won't find a person more in shape than this guy. No body fat, didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do anything except run marathons, not Jim Jones. No, he was like a Jack LaLanne of the running world. You know, in the 70s and 80s, running was like a big deal. White guy, Jim Quick, something along those lines. and he died of a heart attack. Eric Carr, the drummer from Kiss, never had a cigarette in his life, died of lung cancer. Um, so, that I know a few people who've died of lung cancer and they never smoked. So, not Jimmy Dean. No all caps in here. Jesus Christ, how many times do I have to say it? Um, I mean, I don't know what his genetics were like. Jim Fix, is that it? Mainly Chris. Thought you were doing a sexual play on words, like Connie Lingus. Um, well, this is a stream that's different than most. Um, yeah, I mean, like it's no really surprise how either my parents died, and here we go again. Here we go, that monoxide poison. I mean, don't go bankrupt in this stream. If God built me a ladder in heaven, I'd climb to the top and elbow drop the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all say hello to that monoxide poison. And it's actually more than $10. It's $12.95. So thank you, monoxide poison. And I apologize once again for crediting your last super chat last night to Coke. I'm not used to getting super chats, so I was, I was coming in hot. The hell was that? Whenever someone super chats me, gay vacation spree, I give them the green gun. I know, $12.95. Fuck yeah. So when it burns, this is a stream that's different from most. Well, I just try and make it different. This is not a stand-up stream. I'm not doing free jokes on here. I'm not like grifting for money. I'm not stream sniping other people. I just hit record. We talk for about an hour. Sometimes we go as long as 2 hours. And then that's it. I'll go walk my dog after this. So, no, William Zoom is the man. So, thank you, Monoxide, very much. I don't know what oil up means, but Jim Fix wrote the complete book of running, then died of a heart attack at like 44 years old. Yeah, I remember him. Like, he was like the model of health, just great body, lean. He was lean. He wasn't muscular. And, I mean, it could be maybe did too much running. I mean, look at all the fucking bodybuilders who, visually look like amazing fucking athletes. And then they do, in their case, they're doing a lot of steroids and growth hormone. And I knew a guy, a huge black guy. What was his name? I think his name was Victor. The first gym I ever worked at. And he wanted me to go with him to Tijuana because he was doing bull steroids. So basically the steroids that they give 800-pound bulls to make them bigger. Henry was his name. He was taking those for his body. Now I would say Henry was about 220, 230. And I never saw him after he went to Tijuana. I think he probably had a heart attack down there because you don't know what you're getting in Tijuana. They sell boner pills down there. It's basically, from what I've been told, just crushed up Viagra. So I don't think you could take Henry. He was a big boy. Now, but he was muscular. Maybe you could, most muscle-bound guys aren't great fighters. Look at that one guy. Who was the MMA guy? I think he was from Russia. He was like 300 pounds. I mean, he looked like a cartoon character. I don't think he ever won a fight. So a guy like Hoist Gracie would probably kill him. What up, Samantha? We're not used to having girls in here, so sorry if it took me a minute to say hello to you. By the way, I'll be at the Comedy Store Saturday night. If anyone's in the LA area. Well, I mean, Ultimate Warrior, you know, I mean, he was 200 and I think 85 pounds, jacked. I mean, when he was in the Blade Runners with Sting, I mean, Sting was probably 250 and jacked and looked tiny. So, it's just, and there's Jeff Monson. No, it wasn't Jeff Monson. I'll never forget that fight. I think it was a fixed fight when he fought Fedor and he was like limping to the cage before the fight. Um, yeah, I mean, look at Lex Luger now. I mean, I'm not saying his condition is because of his steroid use, but I studied steroids for a long time, and I never thought of taking them. Samantha, no all caps in here, please. And they literally make your bone structure grow apart from your muscles. Like that's why I think Triple H tore his quad. Like he was so big that your muscles just can't be supported by your skeletal uh, structure. And that's why, like you look at Barry Bonds, like you look at Barry Bonds' his rookie year in Pittsburgh, he literally looked like Roger from What's Happening. And then when he was in the middle of his home run campaign, I mean, his head got bigger because your skeletal structure literally goes like that. Yeah, I mean, I would say if I had to guess, my cousin RFK, I would say he takes at the minimum TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy. Um, I mean, he looks like he'd be connected with the mafia, Moses. Um, well, I mean, when you're taking, see, it's not just, steroids aren't, I've never taken them, but in my opinion, that monsoon poison, 12.95. Giant Gonzalez or Great Khali to win a cage match. I mean, that's an interesting one. I would say Giant Gonzalez was a better athlete. I would say Great Khali is probably stronger, in terms of like if you sat them down on a bench press and said, all right, guys, I mean, I'm sure Giant Gonzalez could probably put up a fair amount of weight, but Great Khali is, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would absolutely say TRT and maybe something else. I mean, as a 56-year-old, now I'm completely natural and I lift a fair amount of weight for my age. I've never done steroids. I mean, I do take creatine, shit like that. I still have a bit of a belly and I can't work out any more than I do. I can't. And I'm not even counting like the 2-hour walks with Lois and whatnot. So, naturally it's impossible to progress after probably your late 40s. Um, yeah, I mean, Andre was a type, I mean, the bar, can you imagine Andre trying to bench press 225 pounds? That bar would probably feel like a pencil in his hands. Um, but you never know. I mean, I remember once, sorry for picking my tooth. It's bothering me. I have ADD. Um, I was working out. I was bench pressing 225. I don't know, 5 or 6 times. This was probably in my early 30s, so I was still pretty strong. And Orlando Woolridge walked into the gym. He's like, "Hey, can I work out with you?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm not on your level of strength in any capacity." And he couldn't do 225 once. But if you looked at us and said who could do 225 5 or 6 times and who can't do it at all, you would have picked him to do the 225. I mean, he had like the body of a horse. It was just so shiny and muscular. And why do you think my belly is from the energy drinks? There's really no calories. I'm about 6'2". I'll say 200. I've lost a lot of weight from yoga. I think I was probably up at about 210 this time last year. So, well, Tom McGee, Canadian strongman, part-time wrestler, he was pretty ripped for being a strongman. But, strongmen don't really give a shit about being, um, ripped. It's all mass, so they'll drink those. What up, Alex? They'll drink those 1,000-pound protein shakes that they sell in stores, and they don't um, mind the extra weight. In their minds, the more weight they weigh, the more weight they can do. So, and it's crazy what they eat. I mean, I'm not going to compare people to Andre the Giant because his appetite was pretty legendary, but um, they'll eat a dozen eggs and a steak, for breakfast. I don't think I could have another meal if that was my breakfast. And then for lunch, 3 chicken breasts and 5 scoops of brown rice, and then a snack is probably their lightest meal of the day, and it's probably 2 chicken breasts and a protein shake, which would be a lot for me. And um, yeah, if you can look up Tom McGee, look up Tom McGee Bret Hart. I believe the dark match is on YouTube, and it's amazing how athletic he was for a strong man. Like, he could do backflips off the top rope, and he beat Bret Hart in Bret Hart put him over. And then, oddly enough, where Lois's mom Gail lives in the Mar Vista area, I don't know, a couple years ago, you can also look this up. I guess look up Tom McGee attack. Like 6 gangbangers beat the shit out of him, and his face literally looked like Sloth from the Goonies. Now, you wouldn't think 5 or 6 gangbangers, who I'm going to assume are pretty small in stature, because in that area it's Mexican gangs. It's not Crips and Bloods, it's more Mexican gangs. They're pretty small in stature. Not all, but most. You'd think Tom McGee could kill them, literally. So, but thank you, Monoxide, very much for your generosity today. Former pro, yeah, I mean, but Tom McGee, and you could also see him in the movie Stone Cold, fighting Brian Bosworth. And I think Big Earl, please watch and review Honora KTX by Andrew Jacobs. Andrew Jacobs, one of the OG Earl fans. What is that, Andrew? I saw you Xing about it, tweeting about it. I'm not quite sure what that is, to be honest with you. I mean, the Blue Blazer was very athletic, but if you want to imagine the Blue Blazers' athleticism, but on a much, much bigger frame, that's what Tom McGee was. But he wasn't great on the mic. He didn't have I knew him. He probably didn't know my name, but we were both trainers at Gold's Gym in the late 80s. And, you'd just be like, hey, dude, what's up? And, man, he was a big boy. Like, I would say he was a couple inches taller than me. And at that time, I was a pretty big guy back then, like 210, 215, and jacked myself. He was probably 75 pounds heavier than me and jacked, no fat at all. So, but in wrestling, if you're not good on the mic, you really struggle. Even with the athleticism that he had, they probably would have paired him with a manager. Maybe that would have worked. Bill Kazmaier was a horrible wrestler, but a great strength. I think they paired Kazmaier against DDP, and it's funny on that match, and that match is on YouTube as well. Just look up Kazmaier and DDP, and you could hear DDP calling the match. Like, he wasn't really hiding that, hey, I'm in charge here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I could fight off 6 attackers. You just think someone as athletic and strong as Tom McGee. I mean, look at Zoomy. Look at the picture of him after that attack. I mean, bro, his face is mangled. No, the Blue Blazer was Owen Hart, Moses. Yeah, I mean, I think Kazmaier wrestled a little bit in WCW. I'm not sure if he ever wrestled in WWF, but yeah, I mean, it's just surprising that Tom McGee was I mean, listen, I get it. They were probably coming at him from all angles. I mean, I'm sure even gangbangers were like, "Holy fuck, we gotta do this 6-on-1, two from the east, two from the west, two from the south, and two from the north. That would be 8." Yeah, 100%. I mean, he really like. I mean, I would say. Hold on, I'm about to sneeze. Wow, a double sneeze. That's a rarity. I mean, I looked into taking TRT. There's one of those vitamin places right down the street from me. And because I wasn't pleased with the lack of progress on my body, given how much I work out. And this doctor was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll get you looking ripped again, but your balls will shrink." I'm like, "I'm good. No, thank you." Um, well, I think, yeah, 100% monoxide. I mean, Big Daddy V, he actually was dangerous. A lot of wrestlers didn't like working with him because he was like, I don't think he knew his own strength, and I don't think he cared. You know, his finisher was sitting on your back. And I forget where the safe spot is for that move, but the worst spot it is your lower back, you know, just right above your ass crack, because you're just like squashing that area. I mean, I don't think any part of the back is going to be good. I think you're really supposed to land on the guy's ass, which, you know, it's not going to feel great, but it's not good. And Viscera was kind of dangerous in the ring. Lois is sleeping right now and not coughing. So, I mean, I try not to fight. Uh, yeah, the lower lumbar. Can you imagine? I mean, Viscera was probably 450 pounds, and he wouldn't fall on the lower lumbar region. He would drop on it. So the fucking pressure, like, I think he almost broke Kevin Nash's back. But, you know, they got their receipts later. Trust me on that one. Um, But, yeah, McGee, like, he was in almost too in shape to be a strong man. Like, he wasn't like 350 pounds with a fucking big gut and, you know, just like no neck like that. Like most of the successful guys, you know, like Kazmaier was short, but just like, you know, Ken Patera style body, you know, like a Mark Henry type body. But McGee held in there. He never won, but he would finish like in, you know, around the 3 to 4 spot. You know, he was probably, to be honest with you, in over his head, you know, against those giants. He was probably outweighed by 75 to 100 pounds. What up, Prince Jesse? Thank you for being a new subscriber. I talked to Shane Gillis in the kitchen of the Comedy Store. Um, yeah, I mean, those the Undertaker. Vader's eyeball popped out in the middle of the match, and he just popped it back in like it was nothing. Um, well, yeah, I mean that you take a move that doesn't necessarily look that dangerous, the Hogan leg drop, but you know the middle of his leg, so like this part is landing on whoever, you know, on the wrestler's upper body, but his backbone, the lumbar bone, is just scrunching against the mat. And you know, when I did comedy at the XPW show, I'd never really been in a wrestling ring before. But when I got on there, you know, that mat, now maybe XPWs aren't like WWE mats, you know, but man, I would not want to take a bump on those things. So, but thank you, Prince Jesse. Welcome to the stream. Uh, you're welcome, but can I get, I don't know what that means, add mine. The mat's hard. I mean, it bounces like a trampoline, but it's very hard because there's wood under the mat. So it's not like it's a pillow. It's wood. Um, well, some dude. We all have our favorites. Um, you mean Kane or the Undertaker? I don't recall Undertaker having a mask, but I also remember him in WCW when he. Can you? That's a $10 super chat, Ryan Williams. Um, Yeah, I mean the lower federations, the indies as they are called, um, they don't have the WWE or AEW type padding. So, like I can only imagine. Yeah, Mean Mark Calloway. I can only imagine what ECW's ring. I mean, I remember in XPW, I was leaving one night and Rob Black's like, "Hey Earl, you want to help tear down the ring?" I'm like, "What the fuck? I don't know what I'm doing." Even though I'm 28 and watched wrestling in the late 2000s. Yeah, Kane was great. And they say Kane was the strongest wrestler from that era, even more stronger than Mark Henry. Now, I don't know if that's true, but like uh, Willie McGee, Willie McGee, the guy on the Kansas City Royals, he looked skinnier than Roger from What's Happening. Are you trolling me, movie star fingernails? JCW got torn down in like 20 minutes. The wrestlers, yeah, I mean, XPW. Well, XPW's workers are all wrestlers themselves, so they know what they're doing. Um, yeah, I mean, Kane's a big boy. It's still a big guy. You got to figure he probably doesn't work out that much anymore because isn't he like a mayor or something? But he's still not a guy that I would want to fuck with. I'll look at that photo in a minute, Ryan. I always mess up the stream when I look at shit. Um, yeah, John Cena's very strong. I saw him pick up somebody once, like it was like a Rikishi type. I'm like, oh fuck, man, the lower back. I mean, these guys' backs are gonna be fucking messed up. Can you imagine? Even if you don't blow your back out, and you pick up a guy like Rikishi or like when Kamala picked up Andre the Giant, the stress all goes to your lower back first. Hey, Earl, would you rather get chokeslammed by Big Show or get ass faced by chokeslammed by Big Show? Yeah, Cena's got a very big build. I mean, I like GCW to be honest with you. I mean, GCW is probably my favorite independent show. Kamala Harris, ask and you shall receive, maybe. Yeah, but even if you're lifting with your legs, Kamala lifting Andre the Giant, like I don't care what, and even with Andre helping him, yeeks, the lower back. Oh my God, man. Um, oh yeah, I mean, when I stood next to Hogan at WrestleMania, I think it was 18, or it was the one at Staples Center. I was just as tall as he was, and I may be 6'2". I mean, 6'2" at the highest. Um, Did you like the ruthless aggression area? I mean, I was always a WCW guy, so I never really watched that era. Yeah, I mean, well, I think he was safe. I mean, there are safe moves. Like when Rocky Romero gave me a chest slap, he's like, "I'm going to do it the easy way. It's just going to give you a backhand." But you know, where it really hurts is when they turn the hand over. So they go from this to that because there's a lot more torque, when you go like that. And hold on. Would you monoxide poison 12.95? See, I know the conversion rate, baby. Would you rather face Haku, New Jack, or Steve Blackman in an extreme match? Wow, that's a tough one. I don't think, here's the thing with that one. Haku and New Jack don't feel pain. I mean, I remember when I met New Jack at a comedy show I was hosting, and he comes up to me after the show. He's like, "You a funny motherfucker," and headbutts me. And man, it was like being hit in the head with a bullet. Um, and they say Haku's, I would say Jack Blackman. Sorry, Steve Jackman was a defenseman on the St. Louis Blues. I would say Jackman because he seems like the type that would stop if he hurt you, which, trust me, all three would hurt me. But I think that New Jack and Haku wouldn't. So I loved Mike Awesome, man. I mean, because not only, now forget the Mike Awesome that was in WCW. the fat chick thriller or the fat chick killer and the 70s guy. You want look up his matches with who's the guy he always used to have these crazy matches with in ECW? Not Tatanka, Masada, something. I'm blanking on the name, but yeah, I mean, I just think New Jack was a dick. I mean, he almost killed Vic Grimes. I was there, man. I'm like, oh fuck, they're not gonna fall off this, man. And it's weird because when they were both climbing up the scaffold, I mean, you could see the scaffolding move. I'm like, this don't look too good. And this is in the wacky era of XPW. And then he tased Vic Grimes, and I think Vic Grimes is alleged to have said, "I can't feel my legs," and New Jack was like, "Don't worry, you won't need them." Um, so, and then he almost killed that old guy. Was a Crazy Joe, who was like 73, and like New Jack stabbed him. Um, Can we talk about Masato Tanaka? Yes, great job, movie star. Check out that you want to see Prime Mike Awesome and Tanaka as well. Like that shit wasn't faked. It was real. I think they probably sat down and go, let's hit each other. Um, so yes, one night I'm in the original room. I'm in the original. If you've been to the Comedy Store, there's the hallway right outside the original room. I was waiting to go on. And I won't. Moses, fuck it, who cares? Moses texts me and go, hey, get up here. The battle's about to end and we're done. Fuck with Piven and you guys will battle. So I go up there and it's like I interrupted the final battle between my good friend Alice Hamilton and Zach Stein. I'm friends with both. Alice is like looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I don't think either one of them knew, hey, man, I'm going off of what Moses wants. So I go in there and I just start talking shit to Piven, and then Jeff is trying to roast me, and it's literally the same line he's used like 4 times on me. Hey, you look like you're wearing the inside of a leather jacket. When the jacket I had on was more than anything in Jeff's wardrobe. Trust me on that one. And I started roasting Piven, and he's not coming back at me. He's literally just like staring at me, going, I'm a Buddhist. I wish you well, my son. And then I just started hammering him, interrupting him. And he has this saying at the time, I knew this because I had intel, that when a joke bombs, and it did a lot for him back then and probably still today, he would go like this at the Laugh Factory, like saying the mic's not working. And so he told a joke, it bombed, and he starts going like this. I'm like, this ain't the Laugh Factory. Our mics work here, bitch. And the crowd blew up. And then he's like, I don't know who the fuck you are, bro, but I'll kick your ass in the parking lot. So I said, well, we don't have to wait till the parking lot. So I start walking towards him, and Guam gets in between us. Jeff stands up like he's gonna do, like he's physically capable of doing anything. Jason Reitman's like getting in between us, and I just looked at Piv and I was like, "Fuck you, you hair plug wearing bitch." And then I waited in the parking lot, and he never came out. What a shock! No one laughed at the leather jacket joke because they've heard it before. Like literally, when Jeff doesn't have access to his writers, he just goes back to old jokes. Um, well, I felt it's funny. I kind of felt bad for Piven that night because, I was told he was in on the joke. So we were going to, the plan, at least from what I was told before I went up there, was you come in, you interrupt the show, do your wrestling entrance, and then you guys will battle, and that's a good way to end the show. And clearly Piven wasn't, that's a typical Jeff move. Embarrass his friend and then claim, I don't know what happened. And then Jeff calls me about 2 in the morning and he's like, what the fuck was that about? I'm like, you guys told me to go up there. Like, you didn't tell him. That's on you. It's like, and I said this to him, like, it's like when you probably told Ralphie May that doing Roast Battle was a great idea when the reality was you wanted to see your friend get blasted by a Comedy Central roast writer for being fat and going through a divorce. But I bet you told Ralphie after the battle, hey, man, I didn't know he was going to go that hard. You put him in the guy's bracket, some friend. Um, so, um, yeah, it probably was the last time I spoke to Jeff. And that's like a couple of years ago. That's pretty funny, some dude. I mean, I don't have a problem with Pippen. I mean, you got Me Too'd out of Hollywood. That's on him. That ain't on me. But, we're never on the same show. He's not passed at the Comedy Store, which tells you something. Someone that famous and the Comedy Store still doesn't pass you, what does that say about their comedy? But I'm the bad guy. I almost got into a fight with Jason Hervey once. We were playing Wallyball, which Wallyball is like volleyball meets racquetball, and you play it on the inside of a racquetball court. So there's a net, and it's basically volleyball in a racquetball court. And I was playing against him, and I spiked the ball on him, and then he threw it at me, and I, I got him like by the front of the shirt. I listen, motherfucker, this ain't the one of yours. And then we became friends after. Uh, I've never met Harvey Weinstein, so yeah. So I don't perform at the Laugh Factory, which is where Piven performs the most. I rarely get improv spots. I think they put them up. So, yeah, I mean, if I don't know if there was a situation where me and Jeremy Piven would talk, but, I would talk to him. No, we didn't. Me and Hervey, I used to sit next to him at the King games. I think he was dating Missy Hyatt at the time, late 80s, early 90s. And so, because it was always, I wasn't in like the celebrity section, but it was Ricky Rackman would sit next to me, Jason Hervey, usually with Missy Hyatt, and then Gilby Clarke from Guns N' Roses. Um, yeah, I mean, me too. There were better movies made when, the casting couch was in full effect. Ranked the best celebrity wrestler. I mean, Dennis Rodman was probably the most physically capable. Um, yeah, I mean, it's crazy to, I mean, Han Solo, I mean, they auditioned hundreds of people for Han Solo, and then it got down to like 50 people who, if you look at like the final call for Han Solo, it was probably 25 actors and all of them work, from Perry King to William Catt to uh, Christopher Walken to, I mean, like, it's, I was at a meeting, sorry, man, I got a booger in my eye. Um, Damn. I'm gonna have to take off my glasses. I was at a meeting with a couple managers, a couple weeks ago, and we'd been talking about some stuff for me, and then they were casting a new action movie, and it was crazy the names they were telling me. Like they had a list of 50 names, all working actors. So it's pretty crazy, like, the selection process for bigger movies. Um, yeah, I mean, well, also, I think originally Han Solo was going to be black. If you ever watched the show The Wire, the mayor from The Wire, Glenn Thurman, was like basically the guy. And then, somehow Han Solo went to Harrison Ford. And there's many, many. I mean, I think Burt Reynolds auditioned for Han Solo as well, and Gene Hackman was supposed to be Hannibal Lecter, but he didn't like the content. Um, so um, I'm trying to think of other well-known. Lance Henriksen was supposed to be the Terminator. He ended up being a cop in the station. But and O.J. Simpson, it's a joke I used to do. Um, O.J. Simpson was up for the role of the Terminator, and the casting director said, "I didn't find him believable as a killer." Hello! We'll go another 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes, guys. Taco Bell is still open in my neighborhood. Yeah, but I could see William Cott as Harrison Ford. Perry King also auditioned for Han Solo. I'd love to know what voiceover actors at that time auditioned for Darth Vader. I bet you the Seven Up guy auditioned. Remember that guy, the Uncola. Um, and I'm sure, like, I've always been a fan of casting choices and what, I think Clint Eastwood wasn't supposed to be Dirty Harry. Now, you can't imagine anyone else as Dirty Harry other than Clint Eastwood, but I think Sinatra was up for the role. Um, I mean, Die Hard, Bruce Willis was like the seventh choice. Um, I think the usuals were um, in in the mix for that one. And then look up the history of James Bond. I mean, there were so many actors at one point considered for James Bond. If you've ever seen The Spy Who Loved Me, the opening scene where Barbara Bach is in bed with the Russian agent, that Russian agent, a really good looking guy, was up for the role of James Bond for that movie because I think they thought Roger Moore was going to leave. So the guy Roger Moore kills on the ski slope, he was supposed to be James Bond. I mean, it's crazy stories like that. Who's your favorite Jewish comedian? I don't think Jared from Subway applied for Han Solo. I mean, I wouldn't mind being like the NBC guy, the guy who does the beginning of every Law and Order and um, Hallo, ich bin ein Deutschland. That was pretty good. Um, well, I mean, I just think Eric Stoltz was too straight for the role. He was playing it not funny. I mean, I remember when I was supposed to be the audience warm up guy for the Rob Schneider show, the pilot was made. What's his name? The guy who was the little guy and the Officer and a Gentleman. And I've seen him, and he's in tons of things. Probably the most prolific Hispanic actor in American film. Um, De La Sarra, an American Officer and a Gentleman. And he was the father in the pilot for the Rob Schneider show. They filmed the whole pilot, and although he's a great actor, he wasn't funny. So they reshot the pilot with Cheech. Um, oh, thank you, Double A. I mean, my hair's a little messy right now, but this is my yoga hair, although I did take a shower. I mean, Larry David's pretty funny for sure. I'm trying to think of that guy's name who played Officer De La Sarra, an Officer and a Gentleman. I met him at Rob Schneider's wedding. I'm like, oh my God, you're the little guy from Officer and a Gentleman. Do you think comedy has a problem passing the torch? It seems like people get hot and the train is ridden until the credits stop and someone else takes their place. Well, I mean, they're always looking for the next, they're already looking for the next Matt Rife. The guy's career just started. But that's, how the business works. Yes, Tony Plana, thank you. I was right on the tip of my tongue. I mean, Tony Plana's been in everything. 24. I mean, I think he was in the Jimmy Smith, the Cuban series. Um, so. Well, he was a struggling actor, and then he got Moonlighting and Die Hard, and bam. Um, I mean, I think Schwarzenegger was offered Die Hard. Stallone was probably offered Die Hard. I think Eastwood was offered Die Hard. It was just like, they literally, it was like everyone but Bruce Willis. And then, I mean, I think Moonlighting was such a big show at the time, but I think in the movie, it was like, we don't want a TV actor in this role. We need a film actor. But look how wrong they were. I mean, a network show pays a lot of money. Um, I've never met Kiefer Sutherland. Um, yeah, I mean, I was in Last Boy Scout as a football player. You didn't see my face, though. Um, but, it was also like, we talk about casting. Look, another 5 minutes, guys. Another 5 minutes, guys. Look at every actor was called in for Sonny Crockett. You had Gary Cole, you had Larry Wilcox. I mean, there's a ton of people. And the head of NBC, not Don Ohlmeyer, Brandon Tartikoff, he didn't want Don Johnson in the role because they had already done like 5 pilots with Don Johnson, and he just wasn't getting any traction. And I don't think these pilots ever aired. I was in a pilot that never aired. They must have spent $500,000 on this pilot, and they never even pitched it. So no, Gary Cole, not Gary Coleman. I love that movie, King Kong in '76 with Jessica Lange. Um, he put his hand on my thigh and he said, "You look dangerous," and I'm like, "Oh man." Did you see Janet Mason's new boob job? I don't know who that is, to be honest with you. Gary Cole, he was a dad in the Brady Bunch TV movies. Well, I just think that you know, he had done like 5 pilots, man, and I don't think they even really wanted Philip Michael Thomas. They, I think Miami Vice almost became Larry Wilcox from Chips and Denzel Washington, and Edward James Olmos might not have ever gotten on the show, but the first detective or Captain Lou Rodriguez, played by Gregory Sierra, he didn't want to live in Miami. So, there you go. Yeah, Gary Cole, you doing a Canadian tour? I would do a Canadian tour, but it's got to pay me the money, honey. And in terms of headlining comedy clubs, I mean, although I have more TV credits than most headliners, I'm not, I'm in that weird level of I'm not unknown, I'm not known, and most good clubs aren't going to headline someone like me in terms of that. I had a friend of mine, I think I've told you guys this before in the stream, that he owns a very successful comedy club in the South with some satellite clubs in the Northeast. And he was like, Earl, I won't headline anyone unless they have 100,000 followers on Instagram. And I've got 12,100. Um, so, yeah, I mean, it was down to like, I mean, Larry Wilcox was so far along in the process that he was auditioning with all of the tubs. And I think they were fucking with him, telling him, hey, man, you got it. But they were just waiting for, I think Brandon Tartikoff to say yes to Don Johnson. I mean, Carl Weathers was not the original choice for Apollo Creed. It was the actual boxer Ken Norton. But I think they were afraid that Ken Norton would hurt Stallone. And they also didn't know if Ken Norton could act. I mean, I do all right with the Canadian girls. Phil and Michael Thomas, yeah, and Phil and Michael Thomas on Good Times as well. New Coke was Tad with sugar. Who is funnier, you, Zelensky, or the whole America people? I would say I'm the funniest out of that selection. Thank you very much. Yes, I was in the ring. This is where I probably first met Don. the Hollywood Tropicana, which I believe was on Santa Monica and Western. I went there once with my friends, and they paid for me to get into the mud wrestling pit, and it was me and some other Mexican dude, and I very specifically remember Don being the MC. Um, you got to pay me to make you laugh. You got to show me the money, honey. Nobody rides for free in the Earlverse, baby. Uh, there is no tomorrow. That is a great scene. Yeah, I mean, I know Zach. He's been on Inappropriate Earl. Yeah, but it's easy for you to say that when you don't have to pay for everything. SC. Um, you know, like to go on tour in Canada, that means I got to pay for all the hotels, I got to pay for all the travels, the Ubers, the taxi cabs, and it's just not worth my time. I'd rather stay in LA and audition for voiceovers, even though I might not get them. One voiceover gig will give me more money than hours. I mean, countless. A Canadian tour, say a 2 week tour of Canada, you're talking 100 hours of work for $1,200. I'm good on that. I've never met Michael Rosenbaum. Nah, he won't give me a couple thousand. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's a lot harder, to say, hey, why don't you just go on a tour, book your own tour? But it's not a moneymaker. I'd rather do this stream is helping me build more of a fan base than doing a tour. Um, you know, and hopefully one of my shorts of my comedy goes viral or something, and then um, you got to be marketable. People have to say, hey, you've seen him on this. And they can say, hey, they've seen him on Roast Battle, you've heard him on the Jellies, but I'm not at 56 years old barebacking it on a tour of Canada. It's just not um, something I won't do. But I have a meeting next week with a very well-known manager, so that's if he put it together, I would do it. Message held for review. Oh boy. No, the Mexican drummer from Kill Tony, Joel, is a great guy. He's a great guy. Let me, I will vouch for him on that. No, no, I mean, I just want to do stand up. I don't listen to podcasts, but I would listen to his since it's not a stand up related one. And hit your feet and been here ever since. Oh, cool, TB. Well, like I said, my stream's not for everyone. It's really just a stream where we all talk to each other. I got to look up something on my computer. Sorry about that. Let me turn the lights on. So, I think people get confused when they're like, okay, this guy's a comic. Tell me a joke, bitch. And my stream don't work like that. So, we are at a bar and we're just chilling right now. And, the stream is getting a little bigger and bigger each day. We haven't quite cracked the algorithm, but hopefully one day we will. And, then, the more people watch, the bigger the stream gets. And, we'll take it from there. Yeah, I mean, Abaddon at this point is probably just a jobber. She's a good wrestler, got a weird look. But, Harley Cameron, who I'm buddies with, she started out in QT Marshall's group as like the busty bimbo. And, started wrestling, and she's only had 65 matches, but the crowd loves her, man. Crowd pops every time, um, she's on air. I mean, even last night she was Harley Graham, not hologram, but Harley Graham, and the crowd loved it. Yeah, I mean, jokes are my job. I mean, the reason why I don't like spit out jokes in this stream, it's like I'm teasing you guys, so if we're ever in the same city, you're like, oh, he's pretty funny. Let's check him out. But if I'm just doing jokes in here, it's like, well, why do we have to pay to go see him? We've heard his jokes, you know. Thank you, cast. It's all good. Um, any plans? I mean, Wise Guys reached out to me for one show. I was like, I'm not going to Vegas to do one show. It's just not financially worth it to me. I said I'll do a whole weekend and then 4 shows, and I mean I don't have any merch, but I'd figure I'd bring autographed pictures or something, sell them for $10 or whatever. Then we're talking some money, honey. But I'm not going to go to Vegas for one show. In terms of Arizona, I did speak with Tammy McPherson, who owns the House of Comedy in Scottsdale and in Plano, Texas, and Vancouver, and Edmonton, and House of Comedy in Minnesota. I would consider playing those clubs. Yes, they are 8 by, but I had no merch, so I would probably bring all those 8 by 10s, and I'd probably not even sell them. I'd probably just sign them for free just to build up some fan. Um, I don't know. I'm not. I would never play Stanhope's club out of because I'm sure my ex is there loitering, so I'm good on that. Um, what you a bobblehead, Skakel? I mean, a bobblehead, that would work, but those, you're talking, you got to buy in bulk, probably 200 bobbleheads, and that's, a couple grand, probably the cost is probably $5, and then you sell them for 20. But like, I don't want to be a comic who nobody knows that's selling merch. Um, oh shit, I did ask you. Like, I don't have a frame for it, but send me. I don't think you ever sent me your address in email, Zoom. Do that, and we'll figure it out. Um, so, Earl, do you make a girl breakfast? I pay for breakfast. I don't make it. Um, I don't make any omelets. I don't make any food. Um, Yeah, but then, for going on the road with Rob Schneider, I really learned the value of merch and whatnot. I mean, when we played Edmonton, if I had merch, I would have sold out of it because in Edmonton, they want anything from the comics who are there. But I'd rather work on my, yeah, 100%. I mean, I had even heard, I think someone in here told me who was familiar with Stanhope and his crew that even they were kind of distancing themselves from her. So, I mean, when Stanhope's like, you got to beat it, honey, you're finished. Because that's like her idol. So, good luck with that. Um, well, women love me because I can pay for the money, honey. I got the money, honey, to pay for the foodie. Sweet Chicks, it's a real place, but now I do my grooming by myself. Uh, I mean, I like Stanhope, but I just wouldn't want to take the risk of running into her. And it's not like if I kill at Stanhope's club, that's going to do me anything. No one's going to see it except the people who are there. And I'm like, that's why I don't do the road a lot. Because like in Vegas, a lot of the clubs want you there the whole week. Like if you play Brad Garrett's club, you're there. What is it? Tuesday to Sunday. Like and you're doing 2 shows, so you're doing a lot of shows. And I think the Cellar is something similar. I don't want to fucking be in Vegas for a week. 14 shows, but no one from the industry is going to see them. So, oh, 100%. Oh my God. She has a tattoo of his signature on her stomach. Like, she idolizes Stanhope. Um, so yeah, I mean, I like Stanhope. He's always cool to me when I saw him at the Comedy Store. But I just that would be like now if I party, I might go there because that his crew parties hard. I mean, they go hard in the paint. Yes, I do comedy. No, I did not buy a waxing kit. I just, Gillette now makes a razor for that area, and I also every now and then for like my booty will go to my friend who owns Waxology in WeHo. You should sell. Well, I might, if I ever got to the point of, hey man, I should start making merch, I might do Earl shirts in the rat font. Like that would look pretty good on a black t-shirt. I have done a show at the Stand. Great club, the old Stand. I have not been to the new Stand yet. It's in Bisbee, Arizona, I think. So, and I don't think Stephen Piercy would mind me doing that. So, yeah, I don't do New York a lot just because, um, I'm not going to make a tremendous amount of money playing New York. Um, my boy Nick Mullen. I mean, maybe his name sounds familiar, but I'm probably thinking of the hockey player Joey Mullen. Uh, oh yeah, I mean, I have a standing invite to play the Mothership, but I just didn't enjoy myself. You know, it's a fun club, and it's definitely a comics club. But there's just too many people ahead of me in line up there. I mean, I'm not going to go there and go on before guys who are parking cars in the store parking lot. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And then that's not a shot at them, but like, you know, there's probably about 10 comics who are up Joe's ass who, get the best spots and all that. And I'm just not one of them. So I'm treated too well at the Comedy Store. So, um, I mean, I like the Comedy Store better, but I'm treated like a god at the Comedy Store. So, do you date big girls? They need loving too. Yeah, don't you know some of my exes? Um, well, I mean, but I'm respectful, Zoom. I mean, that is the only reason I have this font is because I'm such a huge Rat fan. So, I would ask him for permission. Um, no, I'm not doing that shit extraneous. Um, so I'm not battling crowds anymore. I don't do comedy unless I know the likelihood of my success is going to be high. Um, I'm 25 years into comedy. I'm not doing bar shows. I'm not doing fucking, um, you know, juggalo type venues where you're getting heckled and you got to battle the crowd. Man. Those days are over for me. We'll go to 75 minutes, guys, and then I'm going to do something. I'm not sure what, but I will do something and report back to you tomorrow. I will be doing a stream tomorrow at some point. This is my second stream today, so uh, we are at the 27 Club on likes. Let's get to the dirty at 30. Um, do you get? I don't know what that means, to be honest with you. Um, MP. I don't know what that means. No, I'm not saying juggalos are violent people. I'm just saying that they're rowdy, and I'm not doing rowdy shows. Like I don't mind doing rowdy shows if it's at a comedy club because I'm in control of the audience. But I'm not doing like I've done shows at music festivals, and it just sucks. Worst place to do comedy is probably at a music festival. They're not there for the comedy; they want to hear the music, and I get it. Like I completely understand. Like when I opened up for Motorhead, because Phil, the guitar player, was like, Earl, I'm not going on stage until you do comedy. That crowd did not want to hear a stand-up comic. So, and like I said, I get it. When I'm at a music show, I don't want to hear comedy. I think Kiss did something pretty funny on one of their last reunion tours. They didn't have an opening act. They just had a painter painting Kiss pictures. Are you gonna boo him? I mean, if I had like juggalo type humor, I probably would do it, because I could see me, to use a wrestling term, going over. Um, yeah, he was kind of like a speed painter. He would just do like these massive murals of Kiss, and I don't know. I mean, he didn't get booed or anything, but I don't think the crowd was that into it. Minute and 30 seconds, guys. Minute and 30 seconds. Um, yeah, wrestling is juggalo shit. What up, CC Motion? I'm about to end the stream in about a minute. The youth hostel's not good because most of the people in there don't speak English or speak very little English. So you're just doing you're doing jokes to people who are just kind of staring at you. I mean, I didn't like it. I mean, I used to do the youth hostel with Brody a lot on Schrader, Hollywood and Schrader. And it was a very popular hostel with comics because comics would just try and get some pussy after the show. But, you know, uh, yeah, I saw Stabbing Westward as well. I don't remember much about them, though. 100% extraneous, 100%. Um, do an Eclipse Blood Moon show later. Probably not. I don't want to look up into the sky and have my eyeballs fall out. Earl, how has your day been so far? Hopefully good, man. Yeah, did a couple good streams, had a good workout. Yoga is also good for my brain. So everything's pretty good tonight. Hey, thank you for getting me to the Dirty 30. Did a light just come on? No, the TV in the background's changing screensavers. So no, it did not. Look at that. AC/DC in the house. Unfortunately, AC/DC, I'm literally ending the stream. Lois is sleeping right now. She's just chilling right now. So if you could do a comedy tour in North America, you get 6 current comedians. Who are you with? I would never do a comedy tour with 6 comics. I wouldn't even. I would just do my own tour with local openers. Um, okay, so the lunar eclipse is probably happening right now. Um, but 6 comics, fuck that. Sharing rooms, no thanks. Talk to the vet about Hayako. Yeah, her costume pretty good today. I will, absolutely. Lois is sleeping right now. I will take her for a semi-long walk. And then if I see the moon, it's like wackadoony tonight. Maybe I'll pop on for a few minutes. But this is my second stream, so would you rather be on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour or in a Vince McMahon orgy? Well, there'd be a couple chicks at a Vince McMahon orgy, so I'd rather. Ain't gonna be no pussy at a Blue Collar Comedy Tour. So ow. All right, you guys. I might stream later when I'm walking Lois in about an hour. The lunar eclipse tour. Other than that, Earl Skakel over and out.